2 people watching so far. What is up, Watch fam? I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and welcome to this week's live. For those of you on YouTube watching on Saturday, we recorded this live on Instagram. So if you do not already, follow us on Instagram at Theo and Harris. You will get an alert directly to your phone that will tell you that we are going live, so you will actually get to watch it live as opposed to recorded, which is not shabby by any means, but the live stuff is funny because we make more mistakes. What kind of questions do you guys have? Let's get into a couple of things. First of all, I'm actually having a midday beer because it's very hot. I am drinking a Miller High Life, which is a beer that I grew up drinking because I used to go crabbing with my grandfather, and he's a man of simple needs. So whatever was on sale, he would buy. So I have a cute taste for beer. I have a deep appreciation for it. So, all right, let's go into some questions. New moves at Breitling. Yeah, you're right. Breitling recently changed ownership. I don't remember who bought them, but they recently changed ownership. Actually, a couple of times now. There are a couple of new, speculated partners. No one really knows what's happening yet because it is still a new acquisition. So there's a lot to come, you would imagine. But still, we have no empirical evidence to support that. I mean, there's nothing we can actually say until it's already happening. I gave a great thumbs up to Breitling, which I would assume is from the new regime, as to an advertising bit that they did on The Bachelorette. Huge props. Breitling basically made themselves as a brand synonymous with marriage in the eyes of millions of millions of women that are very willing to believe what they watch in The Bachelor. I think The Bachelor does a very good job at consumer engagement and just overall just rally around their show. And I think that their inclusion in that show worked. I think that The Bachelor, if there's one show on television that is like drinking the Kool-Aid, it's that show. People literally get together, as opposed to watching alone. They get together in groups, in groups of 10 and 15 to watch, this ridiculous show. But at the end of the day, what is happening is viral every week. So Breitling, by being in that, I mean, they basically put themselves in a league of their own, in a group of people that is not necessarily classified as watch fam or watch geeks, but in a mass market. And that to me is just incredibly interesting. So they're kind of saying, no, we may not be, most favorable in the eyes of the core audience right now, but we're going to go for the much bigger fish. So good job for you, Breitling. That's kind of my, thought here. Yep, Wind and Bide, whatever your name is. No BS. My girlfriend asked me about Breitling after she watched the show. Yep, you're right. Because these people were watching. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people were watching. So good for them. What else do you guys want to talk about? I was in New York, but I didn't get to meet you. Hopefully next time, Christian. That would be awesome, man. Please shoot me an email. Any of you, when you are in New York, I would love to meet you and buy you a drink and talk about watches. It is always my pleasure. Seriously. So, why call the company name Theo and Harris? This isn't your fault. I've answered this 100 times, but it's not your fault for not knowing. It's a fictitious name. I was much more interested in building the business than I was in naming it. So the name sounded cool, and I went with it, and the rest was history. Let's get into today's big news. I think probably the biggest news in the watch community today was HODINKEE. They released another talking watches today with Alton Brown, who's a pretty famous character, I believe, on the Food Channel. I could be wrong. I may be skewered for saying that, but I believe on the Food Channel. And I thought that they did a wonderful job. I actually haven't seen the video yet, so many of you are going to say, give me shit for not seeing a video and then giving it immediate praise. But I think it was brilliant. There are 2 directions talking watches has gone in the past. One with super watch geek, the best collections in the world, Alfredo Paramico and John Goldberger, just to name a few. Then you can go the way of, truthfully, I don't even know the guys' names, but there were a couple of guys, and you can show photos, terrific guys, really just, sweethearts, wonderful collections, but it was definitely more of a move to get SEO and to get recognition because you're having a big name, which is no problem. But with this move with Alton Brown, they actually got to marry the two. They got someone who is famous that is going to bring in a ton of viewership with their name, and they married that with someone with an incredible collection. So Alton Brown was both of those people on the show. I will watch the episode. I haven't yet. I will. But when I got to scroll through the collection, talking serious watches. Rolex 6542, 1680 red sub, snowflakes. I mean, they were Nevada Gretchen, serious watches. So good job for Alton Brown for having that collection, and even more so, major props to HODINKEE for being so being so discerning, I guess. Big props, guys. Just buy what you like, dude. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that would if you just buy what you like is kind of a big thing, and I agree with it. Don't let other people ultimately dictate what you're going to spend money on, but listening to other people's opinions can go a long way. I think that you could never, I would never make a large purchase without listening to the opinions of people in the field that are informed. So I do think that there is still a space for those professional opinions. Obviously, as that's what I do for a living. Why do you hate Rolex? I think you made that up. I do not hate Rolex. That's just something you just said. In fact, I have a couple of cool Rolexes here for those of you who want to see. I have a really cool ceramic Daytona right here, black, really beautiful. This watch is not for sale at theoandharris.com, unless it is. No, it's not. I have another yellow gold Datejust with a beautiful taupe dial. This is something that I was extremely lucky to pick up. I have to take a quick trip to the watchmaker just for a final inspection, but damn, case is sharp, dial is flawless, and rare in color. So I'm very lucky. And then one more. I think there's another one somewhere, but one more at the moment. Pepsi GMT, probably the first watch that I ever fell in love with. This was basically, give or take, my dad's first Rolex. This isn't his, but this is the first watch that I saw and said, watches mean more than material, which is really what has kept me in this business, this long and for much longer. So that's an awesome thing. Yep, everyone loves this stuff. What do I think about the new Daytona? I love it. I mean, this is the second or third I've been lucky enough to handle. I think that they knocked it out of the park. I don't think that it was brilliant in innovation. There were people on the internet that basically begged for this, spec by spec. So Rolex could have went on any major Rolex forum and just made what was there, which it kind of seems is what they did. But nonetheless, it doesn't make the achievement itself any less important. They made what was perfect and what was needed. I think they reinvented their Daytona line this time with much more respect for their original Daytonas. So I mean, how do you beat that? And it just so happens that it's just, forget all of that, it's just a beautiful watch. I mean, they were trading way over market for a while, and they still are. But the truth is, I think they're underpriced at retail anyway. So do I support you spending $24,000 in a Daytona? Probably not. On a new Daytona? Probably not. But I also think that at the retail 12, they're actually pretty aggressively priced. So I wouldn't cry over that spilled milk. A little bit of a premium. Can Liquor Run go beyond wine? What else are you into? You're right. Actually, we are reinventing Liquor Run today. Today we're recording a new Liquor Run for Friday, and I really encourage you all to take a look. Basically, what we're going to be doing is taking, a conversation between my dad and I. My dad's also a watch geek, and talking about this week in watches, kind of in like a Saturday Night Live kind of thing, but serious, and drinking wine and just kind of talking about it. So yes, there will still be weekend alcohol recommendation, a wine recommendation, but we're really going to get into watches a lot more. We're obviously upping our watch content an incredible amount every week. So this is going to be a really important addition to our weekly, our weekly schedule. So I'm super excited. Let's do one more question, and then that's it. We're going to sign off. What do we got? Why are 1501 Rolex watches not popular? Good question, and I'm going to answer that with a much kind of larger. The reference 1501 is not the important kind of conversation here. I think the more important conversation, which will still answer your question, is why are Rolex Oyster Perpetuals at 34 millimeters not so popular? The answer is extremely simple. They're 34 millimeters, and most people are not comfortable with 34 millimeters. I couldn't be more the opposite. I think, frankly, in many instances, 34 millimeters, particularly on a bracelet, wears very sporty or sportily. I don't know. Sporty. I don't know. I think it's a very handsome look. Would it look good on an 8.5-inch wrist? No, I think it'll probably look a little bit small. Proportions are king, but. I think that more men need to be a little bit more comfortable or a little bit more willing to try a 34 millimeter watch. That's the important thing. I think that the 34 millimeter Oyster Perpetual will do its job once it's on your wrist and you'll love it. But if you don't try it on, you're never going to start, drinking the Kool-Aid. And that to me is super important. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this week's AskTNH Live. I couldn't be more grateful that you guys tuned in. Please subscribe to the channel at Theo and Harris right below. And do not forget to check out the watches in the watch shop on Tuesday. That's it. Take care, guys.